Happy Wednesday! Best day of the week when we go live with our amazing online business manager community. I'm so grateful for every single one of you to be here today. And I know that all of you love this topic. How do you find your superpower? How do you then sell it to people who may need it without feeling spammy, cringy, inauthentic, awkward, all of those things? And that's all so natural. I first just want to say that is all so natural, but I'm so glad you're here. So let's get things kicked off. Starter question, put into the chat or comments wherever you are watching this. If you had a superpower, what would it be? If you had a superpower, what would it be? Natalie, Daphne, Stacy, Amy, hello, hello, hello. Good to see all of you. Good to see all of you. What would your superpower be? For the longest time, I wanted to fly. But now it's teleportation, without a doubt. I don't want to waste the time even flying. I just want to get there. Efficiency, businesswoman. Yes. Flying, time travel, teleportation, spreadsheets, finding things. Leah, yes. Cracks me up. You crack me up. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Hello, everyone. If this is your first time with you, I'm Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. What do we do at Prowess Project? We help mainly women who are returning to the workforce after a career break or are in a professional career now and want to pivot to being an online business manager so that they have more control and flexibility in their life while making an impact. So with all of that in their training, we connect them with potential clients who desperately, desperately need the expertise and camaraderie and thought partnership that an online business manager brings to CEOs out there. So with that being said, I am thrilled to introduce our guest for today. She is just so amazing, so memorable. When I think of her, I just think of the word like flair and sparkle, which will make so much more sense when you meet her and you hear her amazing, contagious personality. And it's one of those examples where someone is given all of these amazing gifts and they go into absolutely the perfect career for themselves. Like, she takes all of her creativity and then helps other people with their own personal brand and their own marketing. And so without further ado, Miss Sherry, come on up.
Hi, guys.
Hello, hello, hello. We're so thrilled to have you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, you're like the fourth person who's called me sparkly in the last week. I guess that's my new word. It used to be feisty. Maybe I'm being a little calmer now and a little more sparkly. I love it. Thank you for that.
Yes. I mean, I'm team sparkly over feisty, though I feel like feisty is a compliment. You're sparkly. You're shiny, you're memorable. All of those things. So tell us, Sherry, give us real quickly, tell us what you do. Talk to us about the transformation that you make for clients, and then we'll talk about how you got here.
Yeah, so I am a business growth guide. I work with service-centered entrepreneurs, both in that they offer a service and their want to be of service. So I work with service-centered entrepreneurs who know they need to do some marketing, but don't know what that looks like. They're like, what do I do? Do I do social media? Do I do, SEO? Do I do, should I go speak at things? Should I go to the Chamber of Commerce? What should I do? And so I help them put together a plan that's the most strategic for them, because there isn't a one-size-fits-all plan to grow your business. Some people are great on video, so doing video makes sense. Some people hate it, and so doing video doesn't make sense for them. And a lot of us take courses and we do sort of these one-size-fits-all, and they're great, but sometimes they aren't really authentic to who we are. So I help you combine not only what's your superpower, what's the message you want to bring to the market that's unique to you, who are you selling to, and where do they hang out and look for information? and then help to combine those things together and say, what's the best marketing plan for you based on where your clients look for information, based on what they need, and based on who you are and how you want to show up. Because if you decide to do something that's inauthentic, you're not going to do it, right? Like, you're not going to do it. You're just not. You're going to say you will, and then 3 months later, you're going to be like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore.
It's so true. It's so true. We were talking about that this morning. Leah and I had a leadership meeting, and we were sitting there and we were like, we got to stop doing the things that aren't, I don't know, in our core zone of genius or that we lean into, because in a business, you're in for the long haul. And if you're doing things that you don't like, that quite frankly, other people could do for you, but like, you're going to stay stuck.
Well,
and hate it.
and also, like, we don't work this hard as entrepreneurs to do crap we don't like. Now, there's a caveat to that, right? You need to eat your broccoli, right? I mean, there are
Yes.
going to be things that you don't enjoy doing. I hate talking about money. I really, like, I have some money trauma in my past. And so I've said, okay, I'm going to outsource all of my accounting and bookkeeping, because otherwise it won't happen. I will never pay my taxes. I'll go outside one day, my car will be gone. Like, I have that much of a thing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to outsource some of it, but I still have to meet with her every month and have that conversation. I need to eat my broccoli and do the things that are going to grow my business. So yes, that's true. But there are also things that you still need to do, but it's finding that alchemy of what am I willing to do and what just can't I do? Because there's a difference.
Absolutely difference. And okay, we're going to put a pin in that because I want to give everyone context how you got to the wonderful, sparkly woman that you are now.
Long story. I wasn't always this way. I kind of grew up feeling really dorky and like I didn't fit in. And I think I always figured out ways to become a chameleon in whatever environment I was in so that I could be accepted. But I never really felt like my authentic self. And I finally became an entrepreneur about 12 years ago now, and really leaving the corporate world really gave me an opportunity to say, what do I want? What do I want to look like? What color do I want my hair to be? What car do I want to drive? Right? Because I was driving the car that all the other executives drove. I wore the suits that all the other executives did. I got the glasses that everybody else did. And so I really went on this real deep exploration of like, how do I want to show up? Right? What do I want to look like? What do I, and so the Volvo got traded in for a Mini Cooper but it wasn't an easy road at all. And that's one thing I want to say is like, sometimes this butterfly process can be icky, right? And I had a lot of challenges in my marriage when I went through this because he liked the corporate girl and I sold him that corporate girl, right? I was the chameleon. I chose to be whoever I needed to be. And that marriage dissolved. I ended up falling into addiction for a good, not super long, but for a good, year or so. Got sober, got out of that, and really then had to look at my life again and go, okay, I chose this to be this very authentic version of myself. And I lost a lot in that process. So do I want to put those masks back on, or am I going to choose to move forward from a place of wholeness and from a very, from a place of center? And am I going to ask the universe, what gifts have you given me that you want me to return back to the world? And how do I do that? And so I frankly went back to the corporate world for a little while. And so anybody who's listening here, if this is one thing you take away, like, it's okay to have seasons of entrepreneurship and seasons of non-entrepreneurship. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Let's say that again.
So there are seasons, right? I did this photography thing. It was super successful. I moved, I got divorced, I got addicted, I got sober. And then I was like, and I don't have it in me to run a business right now. I just don't. I don't have it in me. I'm going to go back to corporate. I'm going to have people tell me what to do. I'm going to get a good old fashioned paycheck. I'm going to come home at 6 o'clock and I'm going to watch television, right? I'm good. I'm good with that. But this business was created during COVID, and people knew that I had created this other really successful businesses, had worked in corporate America for a long time, sold all different types of things, marketed all different types of products. And they started having these realizations like, I'm ready to start the business of my dreams. I have more gifts than corporate America lets me give. And I agree with that. I understand it. I've done it, right? We all have gifts that you can't use in a lot of corporate environments. At least I didn't feel that way. And I had a lot of people call me and say, hey, how do I build a business? What does that look like? And so I just started advising people on their businesses, and here I am 3.5 years later. But the evolution to finding out who you are generally comes from some sort of pain. Mm-hmm. There's always struggles in it. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of like, hey, do I like this color on me? Do I like this? Do I like that? Right? There's a movie called Runaway Bride. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And at the end, she's like, I don't even know if I like what food I like. I don't know what I like to do. And having the courage to really explore those things and say, what do I want to wear? What do I want to look like? What car do I want to drive? Not that everybody else thinks I should drive, but that I want to drive, and have the courage to say, that's who I'm going to be. And like, I'm cool with that. And people are drawn to people who are really authentic.
Yes. Double click that, like exclamation mark, highlight all the things. So, damn girl, like it is so impressive, that story and that journey that you just shared, because you're right. It was shedding all the shoulds and coming into your own. Wow. And thank you for sharing too, that you did go back to corporate. I think that a lot of times people think that that's a failure, and it's not at all. To your point, there are seasons. Sometimes other things in your life are taking the priority and the creativity and the focus that typically would go to your business, and that's okay.
Totally okay. Or totally okay to say, I'm going to take a part-time job so that I've got a little bit of breathing room, right? And that's okay. That's okay too.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So you talk a lot, and you had your butterfly moment of creating your own personal brand. So a lot of the women who are listening here, they are becoming online business managers and taking on clients for themselves. And oftentimes they are propping up their CEOs so that they're creating a personal brand, the CEOs, and the OBMs are supporting them. And also they, as OBMs, need to create their own personal brand. Can you talk about the importance of what you've seen of helping so many people figure it out and stick with it, or sharing it, or really what you've learned in that journey?
Yeah, the number one thing I would say is people buy from people. I'm going to say that again. People buy from people, and imperfect people buy from imperfect people. So if there's anyone who's perfect right now, I'm going to tell you to just leave, turn off the podcast, get out of the live. It was really nice having you. Really, people buy from people, and people want people who are real, right? We want people who are real and competent, and that we feel like we can talk to, especially as an OBM. I have one, and I need to trust her with so much of my brand, right? My business is my baby, and your OBM is taking, like, it's like a nanny for your baby, right? And it's such an important role. And I want somebody who understands who they are, who I'm going to feel like can hold space for me, who I know who they are and I can trust them. I've had OBMs who I've worked with who've said, just they're like nailing Jello against a wall, right? They don't have hard, like, you shouldn't have hard edges, but
Yes.
you have to be real clear about here's who I am, here's what I'm great at, here's what I'm not really great at, because you want to find, if you want to find the best match for you and sell in the most effective way possible, you have to be radically honest about who you are, because then energetically you're going to get the clients that you want. So you have to be a person first, and then you'll find the clients who are going to be the best match for you. And sometimes that's scary because we think that when we market our business, we have to put on all these masks and, okay, let me make sure that I, have a blazer on. And
Yep.
I have to say, you do need to, you got to get dressed. I mean, you have to get dressed. But, they think they have to sort of make up a life that doesn't exist, or, well, I don't want to say that because they won't. There are areas of politeness and areas, there is polite conversation, but then there's also just being somebody that you're not. There's the times where you're saying, oh, I totally agree, and you don't. But you're going to sell somebody that, and then it will come back to haunt you. It happened to me in my marriage that I was telling you about. I sold him a different person, and I did it because of my own sense of inadequacy and my own sense of I'll be whoever I need to be to fit in. And instead of we can't be that person, because now the only people I work with are people who are like energetically aligned. And if you sell somebody something that they're not going to get, it will come back to haunt you every time.
So that is exactly what I was going to say. And I'm so glad that you brought that up. And I never thought about it like this, that sure, you can go in and sell someone on your OBM services and I'm this person, and yet you're going to hate every second of servicing them. And guess what? That person probably knows people just like them. So they're going to refer other people like them that you're going to hate serving. And you're going to wake up and you're going to have all of these clients that you hate serving because you're not one of them. You're not. Oh man, I never thought about it.
I've done it. I have done the I need money and I'm going to take whatever client is going to come at me, right? I've done the I'm lonely and I'm going to take whatever guy is going to come at me at the same time, right? It's the same process.
Yeah.
And
it is.
Sometimes you have to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to make some money. And sometimes you say, okay, I understand this isn't energetically aligned and I'm cool with that. But you want to do it because the universe brings that to you, not because you called it in, if that makes sense. So you want to say, here's who I am all the time. I'm going to eventually attract the right people to me. If I attract someone who isn't, I'm going to make the conscious decision that I'm going to do this for 6 months. I know I'm not going to like it, and I'm okay with that. And then we're going to, leave and we're going to part friends, and I'm going to understand that this is okay for me, right? You make that bargain with yourself. And sometimes we have to make those bargains, but you don't want to do that all the time, right? And because that's when you just become miserable. You also have to understand, you're right, you're going to do because you're all really good, competent professionals. You're going to do a great job and they're going to refer you, and you're going to have to say no because those people aren't going to be aligned, and understand that that's where this thing is going, but that you're doing it for a short time. It's like you take the guy to prom or the girl to prom or whoever. You take the person to prom who asks you if the guy who you like doesn't ask you. And that's okay, right? You don't have to marry him.
Yes. Like, I mean, I can just thinking even about Prowess and some of the clients that we took that weren't a fit, but we wanted to, honestly, we needed the reps. Like, this is way earlier, right? But you need the reps, you need to learn. And so we looked at it as, okay, maybe this isn't the perfect alignment, but what are we going to learn? What are we going to test? What are we going to to figure out here and take on and know the warning signs in the future so that we don't do it. So I really love that. And Amy mentioned this in the chat. I love how realistic this is because you're right. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you just need money, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So I want to change the subject a little bit. One thing that I love that you focus on is obviously like superpowers and how you find this, but you say that you can turn a lot of your failures into superpowers. So
All
can
of
you
them.
say
All your superpowers come from your failures for the most part.
all of them?
Well, some of them are born in.
I mean, tell us.
Think about, I was in a mastermind this morning. We were talking about Michael Phelps, right? When won all these more gold medals than anybody, I think. Anyway, he didn't just get born as like a champion swimmer. He put in the reps and he failed a lot. And I wish I had the quote in front of me. Michael Jordan has talked about, yeah, I've won a bunch of championships, but I've lost this many hundreds of games. I've missed this many thousands of shots. We all miss those things. If you just came out of the womb, Michael Phelps, I mean, maybe you'd still get the gold medals, but none of those people, that's very, very rare.
Totally.
It's putting in the reps. It's being willing to go into the gym every day, hitting your head against the wall, taking the client that doesn't work, realizing that that's not what you want to do, taking the crappy job, going through a bout of addiction and realizing that you don't want to be there anymore. So you're going to take off all the masks that are preventing you from being authentic. I think that, we have natural skills that come with us, but we hone them through failure. And that's okay. That's how it works. If we just wanted everything, how boring would life be? And I hate when people say that sometimes. Now I just heard myself say it and I'm like,
No, but I know what you're saying.
but it's true. Like, I mean, it is like, that's how you learn. And all of the biggest things I've learned, I can go back and say, oh, I screwed that up, right? Whether it's marriages, jobs, right? And so I think it also, when you look at life that way, it shifts every single thing that happens to you into, okay, well, universe, God, whoever, what are you trying to teach me right now?
Totally.
Because I'm in the barrel. Everybody gets their chance in the barrel multiple times in their life. I'm in the barrel. What are you trying to teach me right now so that I can work through this and get to the next place? What do I need to learn? And if you ask yourself that, you'll also get out of the barrel a lot faster. You know what I mean by the barrel? So people ride, get in the barrel and they ride down Niagara Falls or whatever, right? I think that that's how we find our superpower. And that's also how we find our purpose. My struggle with authenticity was led to some of the biggest failures of my life. But those failures then made me realize what it means to really be authentic, but how hard it can be and how hard it can be to take those masks off. And so now I've created a whole business where I help other women who are going through that same journey. And that's how my superpower came. I didn't come out of the womb going, I'm going to teach authenticity.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. I never would have thought about it like that it is the failure because you're trying, like you're putting yourself out there. You're right. You're in the barrel, you're taking the action, you're doing all of those things. And inherently you're getting in the reps, so you're learning, you're doing, you're practicing, blah, 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 blah. And you do, as you're learning, lean towards what feels right, good, alignment, blah, like, wow. Yeah.
Well, and if you go back to the conversation about authenticity, people are drawn to someone who's gone through it, right? You're not going to hire a weight loss coach who's never had a weight problem.
Right. Right.
You want someone who you can identify with. You want someone who's struggled with whatever you're struggling with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be the most powerful people, right? The most powerful, whether it's an OBM, an OBM, even if you're just starting, is saying like, say you've been a stay-at-home mom your whole career. and now you're ready to become an OBM and start your own business and find clients. You've got all this experience managing kids, and how do you keep all their schedules going, and how do you keep them organized? And I don't even want to go in my son's room right now because God knows what's happening up there. But those skills, those challenges of yelling at your kid, right? Or, not knowing how to manage your schedule, like you figured that out because you were in pain. No one knew where they were supposed to be at any given time. So you figured out a scheduling system, for example, that works for you and for your family. That pain led to a realization that now you can sell.
Exactly. That right there was the thesis behind Prowess Project. That right there, you summed it up so well. All of these transferable skills, and you're right, it was because of pain, had to figure it out, had to find an answer. Oh, and turns out it's applicable in so many other ways. So it's a perfect segue to, okay, so all of our people who are listening in the audience are all aspiring OBMs on their OBM journey, OBMs for a while. And what I hear often is the hardest part of starting their business is selling their services. How do you think about tying in that authenticity so that when they sell, they don't feel awkward, spammy, cringy, icky, whatever word?
It depends on why you feel that way. Why do you not want to ask for the sale? Is it you don't believe you're worthy? Is it someone told you that you're not supposed to ask for money? Is it like it was for me, women don't make money? Right? I was taught women do not make money. Women who make money are broads, and broads are evil, and you don't want to be one of them. You find a husband who takes care of you. I had to unpack that. So the first step in it is, why don't I want to market myself? What fear is coming up inside me right now that's preventing me from being willing to connect with someone else and offer to be of service to them? So that's the first thing. And then say, okay, let me unpack some of that, right? Like I spent a long time unpacking I just grew up with conservative parents who were significantly older than me. They were raised in the 40s, right? My mother didn't see any other way. They thought it was crazy that I wanted to go to college. And I had to really unpack that idea of women aren't allowed to make money. It took me a couple years to really say, who told me that? Where does it come from? And do I choose to believe it and to still continue to act on it?
That.
Because
do you choose
we
to
have
believe
full
it and act on it?
agency over that. Now we might have to change our lives, right?
Yeah.
So there's some of that. But we get to have agency over that. And so understanding what's coming up and just being really honest with yourself and saying, like, what's happening right now, right? Is this imposter syndrome? Is this I hear from a lot of my clients that they've been raised in communities or homes where they weren't allowed to show off. They weren't allowed to take up space. That's the biggest thing I hear is like, be quiet, speak when you're spoken to, right? Let the adults keep talking. They're not allowed to take up space. So when they have to enter a room and take up some space, they feel like it's wrong, even though it's just the space that they already inhabit. It feels like they're trying to be an elephant when really it's fine just being a mouse, but it feels so hard because they're just kind of trained that way from birth. So there's a lot. So one side is the fears that come up, and one of the reasons why. Some of it is just tactical. Like, I just don't know how. I'm happy to do reels. I just don't know how. And that's an easy fix. I mean, those things are easy fixes. The other piece is there's a mental shift from I need money and I'm going to sell, from sell to service. Let me say that again. There's a
Can you
mental
talk about that?
from sales to service. So if you walk into a networking meeting and you're like, I need to leave here with 3 sales, which is what they teach you in like MLMs and, you know, like those gross, spammy, icky marketing things. I need to walk in here. I do, you know, so then you walk in and you're, okay, this isn't a business card. This is a picture of my son. But, you know, you walk in, you're like, hi, my name is Sherry, and here's my card. And can we meet this week? And what, do you have insurance? And what kind is it? Because I can tell you that I will make you have lower costs. Or whatever. We've all been to that networking meeting.
Yes.
If you walk into those things, whether it's literally walking into a networking meeting, whether it's posting on social media or writing a blog or whatever it is, and you come to it from a place of service where you say, my job is to be of service to this kind of person who has this challenge right now. And my only goal is to walk in, maybe meet somebody like that and be of service to them. And the natural energetic exchange for that is money. And if I don't, I don't. Sometimes you go volunteer somewhere and you do a lot, and sometimes all you do is, you know, sit at the front desk. But they're all as valuable. And so you want to look at everything you do, all of your marketing coming from a place of service. So I teach like a method, even if it's anything you write, any content that you create, I always start from a place of what is the other person being challenged with right now, and how can you help them solve it? So if you read my posts, they generally start with, are you struggling with this?
Yeah.
Because everything I do comes from a place of service. And if along the way you think that you want to spend more time with me so that I can be of more service to you, and then part of that energetic exchange is I'll give you time and you'll give me money, great. If not, great. But I'm always seeking to be of service. So if you write your content and do your reels and everything from that place, it doesn't feel icky and spammy.
I love that. You're right. I totally understand. So this is kind of tactical.
Mm-hmm.
What is your process when, hey, let's say it's me. I am struggling with my personal brand. I feel a little all over the place because I help OBMs and I help people who want to hire OBMs anyway. So Sherry, help me. Do you recommend, or do you do like a free consultation call and then have a close and then you have a package? And I ask because a lot of the people in the audience are trying to figure out what their cadence of touch points and close are.
Yeah. So a lot of like there's all the high level marketing, right? So speaking, things like this, social media, right? Networking events, those types of things. I do offer the next phase is I have a freebie on my website where I do collect emails. I can tell you that's not the biggest part of my funnel. It's there. Just get a couple emails. Cool. I haven't made that a huge priority. I haven't seen the freebies that I've done in the past have gotten me a lot of names, but haven't necessarily converted to clients. So I have it, but it doesn't do a ton for me. The next is the consult call. What I find is my consult call is always easier because of the fact that I have so much free content online. So people will generally come to my consult and say, I binge watched everything on your YouTube channel or on your Instagram or on your Facebook, and you're my person.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's one of the reasons why, even if your social media isn't doing really well, it is a great way to actually drive people down the funnel from the time they hear about you to the time that they get to your consults. So even if something isn't hitting when you post it, don't forget that over time, that post that you do now, a year from now, could touch somebody who needs that thing at that moment and lead to a sale. So I do a 45-minute consult call. I don't do a hard close. It's just, let's just have a conversation. And if you need what I can offer, we're going to know. It's like a date, right? You don't
Totally.
like, you don't want a weird, like heavy close at the end of a date, right? You want like, this is naturally happening, right?
Right.
We all know what's happening here. The chemistry is right. We're going for it. It's the same. I just feel like it's the same thing with any part of my business. I wrote a post the other day that said sales should feel like sex.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of this, it's that idea of the chemistry is right if the chemistry is right. If they need you, they need you. If they don't, they don't. It's super cool. Here's what I have to offer. Here's the program. It'll naturally come up in conversation. I do follow up afterwards. So I'll send a little email. Here's the resources that I told you about, right? That type of thing. I'll usually follow up once or twice. And then I find that if they don't buy after sort of the second thing, and I make sure they're following me on social media as well, that my social media will go to work, keeping me at the top of their mind for when they're ready. But I'm not maybe it's my,
I never thought about it.
I'm not a hard seller, but what I do is I stay in touch with people by posting regularly on social media and engaging with their stuff on social media. So I will have people who are leads that I follow up with, not only via email, but I'll also follow them on social media. I'll tag them on, hey, we were just talking about this the other day. I'll tag them on posts. I'll make sure I'm liking everything that they're doing for a while. And so that I stay top of mind. People just don't have the money right now. And that's cool. They're going to come back.
Yes. Y'all, I hope you're taking notes. That was so good right there, of not feeling like you are spamming and bugging people and blah, blah, blah. And I never thought about your social media doing the work for you like that after a consult call. You think about it like, oh yeah, they're nurturing from getting them to call, but I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, because not everybody's ready. Not everyone's ready, or they're not convinced yet, or who knows? You don't know what's going on in people's lives.
Totally.
Because we all think like, if you don't close them on the phone, like whatever, right? I had someone recently who I had the consult call with, and then I followed up with her a couple times, and she finally wrote back and was like, I'm sorry I'm blowing you off. It's the end of the school year. Things are crazy. Please call me in the summer, at least 2 weeks after school has ended, and we'll chat then. Cool. Right? The other thing is like, don't take it personally. Like, you can't take it. You don't know what's going on in people's lives, but social media is the easiest way to stay in touch with lots of people at the same time, but you have to be consistent. You have to be constantly offering value. So like this woman who hopefully we're now at that, call me, period. So wish me luck. But I know she's been following me on social media for whatever it's been, 6 weeks or something since we spoke, because I'm constantly offering value. I'm constantly online. I'm making an effort to make sure I'm going to her site and liking what she's posting. And
yeah.
It's the easiest way, and it takes 2 seconds as opposed to like calling. And I hate calling. I'm working on that, but
I grew up in like AOL instant message. I never call anybody. Like, no. Like, no. Wow. Okay, we have only 5 more minutes with Sherry. If anyone has a question, please put in chat. What I want to know, Sherry, real quick in our next couple of minutes, can you describe a transformation that you had or that you helped a client get? What would be an example of that?
Yeah, I had a woman who came to me. This is a couple years ago, and now we're partners. But she came to me and said, I'm a really great graphic designer. I've just left the corporate world. I want to start my own graphic design business. I've been throwing some stuff out there. Nothing's really sticking. I'm making a little bit of money, but I don't really know how to show up, right? I don't know how to do all this stuff. So what we did was we did like a VIP day where we did her entire strategy. So who do you want to talk to? Who is going to get you excited to talk to? Who do you want to work with? What are the things that you can offer them? How do we put them together in packages that make the most sense for your target audience? And then what are the easy things you're going to do every day for now to start getting clients? Because there's so many options of things you can do. And so what are the 3 things you're going to do for the next quarter? And then next quarter, we'll talk about something else. And then next quarter, we'll talk about something else. But for now, what are the few things that you can do? And she tripled her revenue within like a couple months. Just having a real clear structure of who she's talking to, what she's going to, what her superpower is, what product she's offering, and where she's going to offer it. She tripled her business in a couple months. And that's not that's not unusual. I've also had other clients who, if social media freaks you out a little bit. I'll give you another example. I had a woman come to me. She's a permanent makeup artist. Have you ever done that?
Cool.
Like
no, I haven't.
I don't have any lipstick on. There's a little gloss on them, but they're permanent makeup. So cool.
That's amazing.
She tattooed my lips. And she came to me saying, I want to grow my business. Things have gone a little bit down. And I told her, like, we went through the whole strategy, right? What's your superpower? Why are you doing this? And then we were like, okay, where's the low hanging fruit for you? She's been doing this for years. And I said, well, and you need to go back every 3 years to get your lips touched up. I'm like, well, when's the last time you went back to people? She's like, oh, I never go back. I'm like, okay, well, go back. She's like, I don't even have records. Like, I don't think she needs an OBM. And so she's like, I don't even know. It's like on paper, like in my attic. And I was like, go to the attic, get the paper down and start calling. And that's all I want you to do for the next month. Don't worry about social media. Don't worry about anything else. We'll do social media later. And when you do it, here's your strategy, right? But we'll do that later. But this will bring, and I mean, instantly brought her revenue. Instantly. She just, because people were like, oh yeah, oh my God, right, I lost your number. I forget everyone's name. So
I know, it's tough.
If she didn't come back to me in 3 years, I mean, she's my clients and I would remember, but I probably wouldn't even remember her name. Be like, oh my God, thank you for following up. Remember all the times that you are really thankful when people follow up with you, and remember that they're going to be thankful for you doing that too. So.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. We have 1 minute left. Sherry, before we end, where can everyone find you, follow you? We all want more Sherry.
Oh, thank you. So my website, SherrySutton.com. So SherrySutton.com. And I work with people primarily one-on-one. So we will walk right alongside each other. I roll up my sleeves. I get super involved in your business, usually for 3 months. We meet every week for about 3 months, and then we'll often taper down from there. So you can learn all about that on my website, SherrySutton.com. I've got a great YouTube channel with a ton of training. So if you just look for Sherry Sutton, you should be able to find me. There's a TED Talk there as well. I did a TED Talk back in January where I shared the longer version of the story I told earlier about my struggles with authenticity and my divorce and my struggles with addiction. So would love for you to check that out. And I'm on all the social places too. So would love to connect with any of you and happy to support you however I can.
Oh my gosh, wonderful. So call to action, y'all go check out Sherry. If you have a client who you feel like, man, this client would really crush it if she or he had a better idea of exactly who she is and what to go do next, contact Sherry, even if it's not a good fit for you. Like, it absolutely could be for your clients. So thank you, all of you, for being here. One last reminder for our OBM University, our full training and client placement program. The price does go up on June 1st because we have added so much good AI training on this. Like, it's insane. Wizard Leah was out on the loose, and it's just been wild. So thank you, Sherry. And to all of you, see you next week. We're talking about dashboarding.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.